How's it going, everybody? This is a special program
edition.
Today.
We got a little special edition of Just Cause.
Regina English.
Yeah, so as you all know, we've been interviewing the city council candidates, and we did two incumbents so far, and so far Miss Regina is the first non-incumbent that came on. We've been trying to get it together. Probably about 2-3, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks now. We're trying to get our schedules to line up together. So we appreciate you coming. Thank you so much. I think we'll just go ahead and get. You got the document open there, John?
Hey y'all,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
there, Facebook land. Hey, it's your girl, Regina English.
Yeah, there. All right, yeah. So, okay, I'm pulled up. All right, so yeah, we can just start with that. Go ahead.
Let me start my camera recording real quick.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you know, first off, I guess I could just say thank you. The fact that you know, John and I were like, do they take us serious enough to actually come and talk to us? You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate it. You know, we get over 1,000 views on our thing over, you know, throughout the week or whatnot. So there's a lot of people on the South Side that's very interested to know, you know, exactly what you got planned for us and stuff. So we could just go ahead and start, John, and get it started there. If you could just tell us about yourself and who is Regina English for the people that don't know.
I am every woman.
Yeah, okay.
That's who Regina English is. So first, I'll just say, I like for people to get to know me, get to know Regina, not Regina, the school board member, or Regina, the, you know, this and that. I like to, for people to get to know me on a personal level.
Yeah.
So, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, have 5 kids, 3 boys, 2 girls, 9 grandbabies.
Oh, wow, okay.
8 princesses.
That's
and
great.
wait, I'm all wrong right now. 7 princesses and 2 princes.
Okay, indeed.
Yes,
indeed.
yes.
That's fantastic.
People are gonna be checking you on that.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
big
wait, she
family.
said.
Yeah. So it's 9 guys, 9 grandbabies,
Yeah,
just to
9
clear
of
the
them.
air.
My goodness,
Yeah,
a lot of babies.
and
Indeed.
I don't like to say that I am a politician.
Okay.
So what I am is a change agent.
Okay.
Right? So when you want change, you position yourself to be that change or to see those changes that you want to see. As everyone knows, I'm already an elected official because I'm the vice president of the Harrison School District 2 Board of Education. That is a great work that should never, ever be discounted.
Indeed.
And you know, people like to say, for lack of a better word, inexperience. But life is an experience, right? And my experience through being the vice president and very vocal as an advocate for our young people on the school board, I'm just now going to take those skill sets to the city council.
Right.
It's just the same concept. It's just their policies are different, right? I'm making sure that there is we, not me. Let me correct that. It's selfish of me to say just me because the board is a collective, right?
Yeah.
It's 5 voices. So we're making sure now we're intentional on making sure that we can see equity through policy.
Okay.
Right. So that's a focal point in Harrison School District 2, which should definitely be a focal point in City Council as well.
Right.
And there's many different facets to that. You know, City Council is responsible for several things, land use, zoning, you know, different things like that. So going into a job, you don't know everything. You don't. And if you say that you do, then I don't know. Maybe you know something that we don't know, right?
Yeah.
Figured something out.
That's
Right.
true.
Every single
So-
person has it.
Me, I'm a hands-on person. Like, a coach will never know what type of player they have until you put them in a game.
True.
Right? Put me in a game, coach. Watch me score. That's how I see myself to be, is a key player. And I just want to see more cohesiveness in community, right?
Okay. Just in general, or on the council,
Or how they interact with the community. You know.
It needs to be holistically, right? If I am the representative for my respective district, then there needs to be cohesiveness with me and my constituents. But that needs to be clearly citywide, right? We all need to be able to come to the table and work together to get things done, not only for our district, but for our city as a whole. So what I want people to understand is, yes, this is a voice for my district, but it's a voice for my city as well, because every decision that I will be making will definitely affect the city as a whole. And I was telling y'all about myself, and I just went right on in there.
No, that's exactly what
That's
we
what it's here
wanted.
for.
That's
Exactly,
exactly what we wanted, because
exactly.
there's a lot of questions about, like, where is she coming from? What is she thinking? How does she want to do it? And that kind of leads into our next question, because we talk about, the incumbents being there. When we talked that we already had 2 of them on our show now. And when you run against them, that implies that you feel that you could do a better job than the person already in the seat. And maybe you could talk to us about some of those things that you feel that you'll be able to do better.
So I look at it like this. We're a team, right? A relay team. You have to pass the baton to get to that victory. So I look at people as, okay, you ran this leg, and it was a good leg, not even discounting it at all. But now it's time to pass the baton, right? So from my standpoint, what I'm going to bring is a much stronger and consistent voice. With me, you're going to get consistency. You're not going to get inconsistencies. And I'm the type of woman, number one, I'm a woman of my word. I'm not going to come up here or to anyone and give you a feel-good message, right? Just to be elected. Because when I get in the seat, it's going to show. Regina just said that to get elected. I can tell you anything, right? But action speaks louder than words. And for me, I'm going to bring more of a collective, collaborative, community voice, like wholeheartedly. Like it's not about me. It's not about the incumbent. It's definitely bigger than an incumbent. And I know some people are partial because of a particular person being an incumbent. However, there's still things that incumbents constantly are learning about our city and about the way things work. And what I'm not going to let people do to me is like put the weight of the city on my shoulders. Like, so Regina, what are you going to do for us? And what are you going to do about affordable housing? And what are you going to do about this and that? So I clearly understand, because I have taken the time to do my due diligence and my research and go to these particular people in the city that are actually the experts or the people appointed to do this work. So for people to put that on me, like, okay, now we're going to see what you're going to do. It's not about seeing what I'm going to do. It's about seeing how I work well with others to continue the momentum, to make sure that the things we do want to see, the ball isn't being dropped. Yeah. So I'm not that candidate that's going to say, you know what, I'm going to save the city overnight and I got y'all and this and that, because then I'm probably cashing the check, writing the check that I can't cash, right? So for me, I just want to be that strong, consistent voice. Like, it's not an option as a representative to be complacent, to be inconsistent, especially for things that our constituents truly, truly care about. Like for me, once you show me who you are, I believe you. Yeah. Not to say that now I can't work with you. I just know how to work with you, right? Now I know the boundaries and how we're going to frame this relationship. But just coming with a collective voice to the council with a level head, very strong decision-making skills. We've had to make some pretty tough decisions for Harrison School District 2 because of the voice of community, not because of the voice of Regina, just because I'm on the board, but because of community. And let me just give a perfect example, because I have to, because I have the platform and I have the opportunity.
Okay, of course.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right. It ain't nothing personal.
Yeah.
I'm just being real.
Okay.
Because I'm listening to people. I know people are watching me and listening to me, and I'm watching people and listening to people as well, vice versa. So it's about building trust and relationships. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to Chauncey and Charles' podcast.
Yeah, move, yeah.
Right? I was listening to the Move podcast, and they shared that they don't want a representative that, you know, or a politician, if you will, that's going to lie to them.
Right.
So I'm going to be very transparent. You know, I'm human too. I'm not this invincible person just because I'm a candidate. And I'm not going to let people try and intimidate me or walk all over me or make me feel as if I am not good enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I know who I am. I know my capabilities. And I don't need one person to validate that. Because I'm confident in the work that I do, because my gifts have made room for me. Right? And it speaks for themselves. But I am a resident leader.
Right.
For the RISE Coalition.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Resilient, inspired, strong, and engaged. So, Yolanda and I, we are not enemies at all.
Yeah.
We do work together. We do community work together. Is it kind of weird right now? Of course.
And Yolanda is also on Rise, correct?
Yes.
Right.
But it's a race. You got to be in it to win it, right? And no one person is entitled to the seat. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, unaffiliated, whatever. Whoever wants to throw their hat in a race had the opportunity to do so. And what I will say is clearly already District 4 has a win. So you're going to get a minority.
Yeah.
You're going to get a female.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a Democrat, if that's what everybody wanted.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a win in itself. So people just need to now embrace that, because it was a whole big thing. And well, if a Republican gets in there, they're going to split the ticket and blah, blah, blah. I said, no, not if all the votes just come to me. Clearly, I'm your girl. Like, don't play. I did not come to play, right? I'm not new to this. I'm true to this, right? I just kind of surfaced when I first ran for the at-large seat, right? Because I was completing my master's degree in public administration.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, what in the world can I do?
Yeah.
It was a city council race. Literally, I just inserted myself in that race. I said, I'm going to use this degree. God dog it somewhere, public administration. Let me run a city, okay? Right, so that's why I did it. And it was just me. I showed up. I was present for every forum. I responded to the questionnaires. I sat in front of all these people that wanted to analyze me to see if they were going to endorse me. They get no endorsements. Guess what? And I was cool with that, because I endorsed me, right? I'm Regina English, and I approve this message.
Right.
But, right, you know what happened? At the end of the day, it was 11. Very crowded race, right? No one knew me in that realm. I placed 7th, right?
Okay.
Got almost 20,000 votes. Which
This
tells
was in the most recent one, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which tells me the city is ready for change, ready for true diversity and equity and just a fresh vibe, a breath of fresh air. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't like to get caught up in the politics and arguments and stuff like that. Just let's do the work together, because this work is so large. We need to all work together collectively. But I got off my stories. But what I said, as far as being a resident leader for the RISE Coalition, I've been a resident leader from the very beginning, since 2017. So it's myself along with some other phenomenal women, and we have one phenomenal man, Ryan, who's also a resident leader. And I want to speak to Panorama Park, right? That's huge.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal for the Southeast. That's going to be the destination place, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't happen because one person, right?
Yeah.
There was no spearhead, right?
Yeah. We've already gotten
At all.
A lot of people are saying that they putting their hat on Panorama
Yeah, it
Park.
seems like it comes up a lot.
a lot of folks
definitely.
feel that they had something to do with that.
So here's the thing. Because I was there from the beginning, I can speak to it.
Okay.
Right? I don't have to take credit for anything. I don't have no reason to lie or fabricate anything.
We know how that goes, though.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's about community. Just because I add to the conversation doesn't mean I spearheaded it.
Right.
I was just a contributor to the conversation.
Yeah.
So as resident leaders, we were all approached
Yeah.
with this from Emily Patterson, Trust for Public Land,
Oh, okay, yeah.
TPL,
Yeah.
right? We were all in Joyce Salazar's office. She's the community coordinator for RISE, right? We were in her little office. Her cell phone was on the table on speakerphone when we were approached with that,
idea,
right?
yeah.
That was a community effort.
Right, yeah,
Because
that's what I was getting
That
at.
was
It feels
community
like it was a
effort.
real community effort,
Yes.
and it looks like it's going to be great. And it's a testament to show that once everybody gets together and puts in on something, we could actually get it done. You know?
Our mission is really focused on community-led change,
Okay.
right? And well, one thing I can speak to as far as spearheading a project, as far as Panorama Park, I spearheaded the Meet Me in the Parks planning process, right? So we had 3 different Meet Me in the Parks. So I, with a team, had to make sure that every moving part was moving in the right direction,
Okay.
right? So we used those Meet Me in the Parks to gain information from community to see what they wanted this park to truly look like, right? So this was truly a collective work. So you give honor where honor is due. You don't take the opportunity to use a massive project that started at $2 million and potentially going to end up being a $9 million project because the work of community, not just one person that finds a opportunity because now I'm running to be re-elected to get out there and say, well, I spearheaded this. No, I had to clear that up because it's not fair to our other resident leaders and the people who have really done the work.
Okay.
We had to plug into other organizations and different community events that were happening. I mean, we was working some long hours trying to get the word out about Panorama Park and just the RISE Coalition itself. So how dare you take the credit for that? And I am definitely a part of that, and you never hear me say, I spearheaded the Panorama Park project.
Right.
No ma'am, no sir. We all did. Community came together in full force, as we still are. And I like to say that I'm the person that bridges the gap where there is lack. Like, I'm a connector. I connect people together because I don't act like I have all the resources, because I don't. But I know this man or this woman that does. So let me point you in that direction, right? I don't have to get a pat on the back all the time and be out front. But in this instance, I want to be out front for my community. I want to be vocal. I want to be transparent. I want to be consistent. Are we going to have some wins and losses? Sure. But what I will say, on my watch, we're going to have more wins than losses. Okay?
Well, so you talked about consistency and dropping the ball and stuff, and this goes back to like why you're running. Was there like a particular moment or instance that you were like, you know what, that's it, I'm running it? Or was it just like a cascade of things and going through things? I'm just curious because you have that sort of language.
It was a whole lot of different things because things are in the atmosphere, so I'm here, so I need to clear the air. I need to clear the atmosphere, right? Because what you see is what you get with me. I'm just real. I can't be any other kind of way, just to try to get your votes. Accept me as I am, right? So initially, when we were at a RISE meeting, as a matter of fact, but the meeting was over because we don't do politics in RISE. That's not the place for that. You know what I'm saying? Because that just creates a space that's not always welcoming. So we leave that at the front door. But we were having a conversation as we were leaving about city council and things like that. And she was like, Regina, you better not run against me. And I'm like, girl, you're safe. You in good hands. I'm not trying to run against you because I'm busy. I'm focused. I'm working on my doctorate degree in organizational leadership. I have all these things going on. So I was not going to run against her. Matter of fact, I'm not running against her. I'm running against me. My only competition is me. I can only stop me from being great. Right? So, but I said that to her. And so now people are coming back like, well, you said you weren't going to run against her. You know what? That was a minute ago. Times change, seasons change, and it's important for me when community members can pick up the phone and reach out to me like, hey, Regina, we need you to push up. We need you to be the voice in this season for our district. Initially, I was like, nah, I'm good, not me, because I'm still in that room and working on my doctorate and all these other things I have going on. I run my own nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
I run a pageant system, but my nonprofit is called BU. We mentor young men and young ladies through leadership, right? And my pageant system is my African American Miss. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. I mentor young ladies through the sport of pageantry.
Okay.
So I have a lot of things going on, but I'm equipped to do what I need to do for a community. So what really sealed the deal is when community said, can you just say yes, right? So I didn't say yes for me. I said yes for community. So that's what made the difference. And of course I had to speak with my husband first, like, hey, baby, I'm going to have to put myself back out there. I was wondering if you don't mind.
Go down, right?
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, well, if community is calling on you, like, why would you wait? Because my plan was to run for the at-large seat again once I completed my doctorate.
Right.
Because by the time that race starts again, I'll be done with my doctorate.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was not. So this isn't a personal attack or I'm better than her or better than anybody. Right. There's nothing above me or beneath me. Right. I'm just who I am, and I'm passionate about making sure that community, especially my district, doesn't get left behind.
Right.
Are there many things happening within District 4? Yes. Do I know everything that's happening? Absolutely not. I'm only one person. But the things that I do know is happening, I'm going to make sure those things continue to happen, right? Like the economic development. Yes, that makes a community thrive. However, when this economic development is happening, I need for my people to get these jobs, right? With a livable wage so they can eat and feed their families. So community needs to see those benefits, right? So what's the incentive for people coming in, developing within our district, right? So people look at me, right, and just see the outer, oh, she cute, she coming up here, she's a fashionista. But I tell people all the time, it's more to me than what you see, right? And you it's okay for you to pat your own self on the back, right? I'm a boss, right? And they trying to paint the picture that District 4 is just poor, we want handouts, and we're just super marginalized, and this and that. Clearly those things were evident before, but we don't have to continue to embrace that narrative, because I live in District 4.
Right.
I'm not lacking, right? And anyone around me that's lacking, I'm going to make sure I can bridge that gap so they're not lacking. Like, I'm bringing my people with me. So this is much bigger than me. Right. It truly is for me about community. When I say it's about community and never about me. You're not going to hear me say, I did this and I did this and I did that. No, we did this because I need you, community, to tell me what you need, right? I'm not the expert on Colorado Springs utilities, which is why I had a conversation with the expert, the man himself. Clearly, community, what people don't know, community is sending a totally different message. That's why I said you need to speak to the same people that I'm speaking to. Inform yourself. So that way when people are putting things in the atmosphere that aren't true, you're not just tagging on to it and amplifying the voice. Yeah. And it's an uninformed message that you're sending.
Right.
Is that a huge responsibility? Absolutely. Same thing. The work I do on school board. That's a huge responsibility. Yeah. Who takes that lightly? My job is to make sure we are setting our students up for a successful education. Is that something easy to do? No. Not when you're working with different people and different perspectives, but at the end of the day, that collective voice of 5 people have to make a decision. And for me, I think about, am I making the best decision for the people that it's going to affect? Removing myself and my biases as much as I can to make the right decision for the community. So, yeah, I'm a talker. Let me let you know.
It's all good. It's all good.
Also, bless you for working on your doctorate while doing all this stuff, too. I'm in the same
It's
boat.
crazy.
It's just, it's too much.
Woo!
Yeah.
You know what? It's crazy.
We're going to have Dr. John and Dr. Regina in the building.
Period.
Yeah. So, hey, you alluded to some of the relationship building skills that you have, and that was one of our questions. So I kind of want to talk to you about that because we could say, yes, we need more jobs, and yes, we're going to make sure that we set our standard for people to come in to create the jobs or whatever. All of these things, we all want those things, but the reality is, on the city council is very divided. We're in the most conservative city in the state of Colorado, and it shows on the city council cycle in and cycle out. So my question is, how do you build these relationships with these people that obviously are not on the same boat as us? You know what I'm saying? And where you have to be a politician. How do you build these relationships with them and with the community? You talk about Rise, and everybody understands your work with Rise, but you know, outside of that, you know, things that you aren't involved with in the community already with.
So, well, it's simply the way I build relationships with everyone. You have to have gain a certain amount of trust, right?
Yeah.
And that goes with building relationships. And for me, the city council, it seems to be very divided. Number one, it's not as diverse as it needs to be. So there aren't enough perspectives or the right voices at the table for the people that they're making decisions for, right? So just respecting their thought processes and being intentional on, before I form an opinion or get in fight mode and put my dukes up, just really understand where they're coming from and why. Now I put my doctoral hat on, John, because those are the things you really truly have to understand. And you know, it's a human theory on what makes us tick and why did you make that decision and why are you not doing that. Just understanding who they are, because it's going to be a whole different console, right? Because all 6 seats are open.
Right.
So incumbents may think they are going to continue to keep the seats, but community may say something different.
Yeah.
So the dynamics will change. And I just also learned that Jim Mason is running. I didn't know that. You guys know Jim Mason? He
I
used
feel
to be,
like I just heard his name, but I don't
Yeah, I
know
don't
who he
know.
is.
yeah, he used to be the I want to say he's still on District 11 school board,
Oh,
but he
okay.
was the president for District 11 school board.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay,
That's
black
good.
man, come to the table.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
Which district is he running?
He's running for is it District 1? Don't get me to lying. 'Cause I don't lie. Then they're gonna be like, she is a politician. She just told a lie. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Tell us
but-
now.
That'd be good.
right?
That's really good. You know,
Yeah.
that we kind of, you got more, cause
No, keep going.
do you want to go to this school district stuff real quick? And
Yeah,
then we
might
can
as
come
well.
back,
We're
because
talking about it
Because
already.
you were intertwining that with your stuff. And
Okay.
so, you know, did you read Promise Lee's article in the Gazette the other day regarding District 2 and District 11's stats and statistics on black and brown children reading and math skills? Did you get a chance to read?
I have not. My face has been in my doctoral work.
Okay.
So it might
I'm
be.
sorry.
That's a perfect excuse.
Yeah,
right?
no,
Yeah,
and I mean,
perfect.
it's part of
Enlighten
it's
me.
maybe not even an excuse.
I know
it's
there's
good
some things
reading.
in the
we can actually-
atmosphere,
we
but
can
it
actually
might
Reading
pull
the
up.
Gazette too, like who reads that? But anyway,
That's
yeah.
okay. I know. I did that.
Y'all better read it. I'm gonna be in
And you
there.
feel
Shoot.
dirty after it.
So my question is,
Here, I'll pull up the stats if you want to keep going.
okay, yeah, according to CMAS,
Oh, you have to go, okay.
there's a 67% of black and Hispanic District 2 students can't read at a grade level. And a whopping 76% fail to do math at grade level in District 2. And my question for you personally is, why is District 2 failing our black and brown children? And also, why they're properly supporting white and affluent children? And why is that happening?
So what I would say to that is, this board that we currently have now is the board that can push things through, right? Because it's clearly is majority led, right? The minority is the majority, so
Okay.
we will have the vote. Is what I'm saying. Only should we all agree. Let me just put it that way. So we see that there's difference in lack, right? I'm just trying to be careful, right?
Yeah.
So Christine don't get mad at me, because
Okay.
she's the public information officer, so
Okay.
I don't want to speak prematurely. See, I give honor where honor's due.
Yeah.
That's her thing. However, for me, because I am a woman of color, of course I'm gonna make sure that, you know, kids that look like me, and even black and brown kids, that they're getting an equitable education as well. Now, I will say that over this pandemic, we were having a meeting and they were saying that our minority kids were actually exceeding their counterparts. So, like I'm saying, it's different information and things all over the place, but just in that moment. But to answer your question completely, Sean, the only way we can fix this problem is creating equity through policy. That's the only way it's going to ever be fair, because when it's in policy, it's solid. Can policies change? Absolutely. But if we have something solid that we can work from, then that's a step forward.
Right.
And our board is going to completely change as well by November. We have some people that are term limited. We have some people that aren't running. So if y'all live in Harrison School District 2, John,
11,
you live in 11, okay.
We're doing just as poorly in 11, so.
Right. But you know what? Just because I believe that Harrison School District 2 is the best district ever, right? And all my kids graduated from there. I can say as a district, though, I believe wholeheartedly, and I know because I'm there in the mix of it, because I have to be, we're in a good place. One, as far as this pandemic and the response to things, right? Now, are the numbers saying we're in a good place? We're probably not in a good place from those numbers. But I'm just saying, not dropping the ball when this pandemic had, or letting our students lag. Let me tell you what the real problem is, though. So what we're seeing, it's not just a school district 2 thing, we're seeing this school-wide, that the kids aren't as engaged now, right, on their computers. You're at home, you're distracted, you're probably gonna turn it on, and then you may be working out or playing your video game or doing something. So how can we make sure that our students are engaged? What are steps that we can take? So those are things that our superintendent has been working on with our staff, like to make sure that our kids are being engaged, because that's why we're going to see numbers like that, right? But why is it our black and brown kids? Why? Are they, is it fair? Absolutely not. It's not fair. So we're trying to find ways right now as this board, before we leave, to make sure if we don't fix it, we've started the fix. So the next board that comes in can continue the work that needs to be done. Because it may not happen by November, right? I don't plan to be there after April. I'm just saying. So whoever is appointed to my position and the other positions that'll be open, they have to have that same mindset of, we have to make sure our black and brown kids are getting the exact same education, and it's fair, and there's equity for our black and brown kids, because we've seen some discrepancies. But two, I'm just saying, I can only say so much because I'm not the spokesperson. But just know that we care, we really do, and we know that there are some discrepancies, because they got the numbers from somewhere. So I'm not trying to sugarcoat and be like, yeah, our district is perfect. So when I was speaking from that good place, is how the ball didn't get dropped when we had to make that transition to on e-learning and things like that. We did a good job with that, but it's disheartening to see that numbers are going down and kids aren't engaged. But don't worry, our black and brown kids ain't gonna be left behind, not on my watch at least.
Indeed. Do you support a unified school district, the idea of a unified school district in the city?
I don't know how I feel about that, but what I will say is, I don't know if that'll ever even happen. And that's something that comes from the state level, right? Because it would be Colorado. Okay, so major decisions like that would be a decision made on the state level, not here at the local level. Did you guys know that?
Well, we were trying to figure out how, because we
don't know how it would happen
about this. And he was like,
I don't even know.
Yes, but I don't even know where you begin that process. And we were just talking about it like, I don't even know where that process
But that would come from the state.
Okay.
The state capital.
Walk us through what that would have to look like. Do you know exactly?
Denver has a unified district.
I don't know every step.
Okay.
But again, people would have to be willing to work together.
District 20, District 12.
Right now?
Yeah. So because the things that you were saying that that we're setting it up so that because, if anything, these numbers are old. The 67 or 76% failing to be able to
I
do
think
math
they are.
and the 67 not being able to read or write at the grade level. Now, and I'm not talking about years old.
Is
You know,
it
so-
national
last year.
statistics?
no. This is district. This is straight
Don't
off.
play.
This is straight off of the Colorado
Where you
Department
get it
of
from?
Education.
Let me see. I got to go
Yes,
see it
the
for
Colorado
myself.
Department
Lost
of
ass
Education.
from us.
Yeah, we'll put it up on here. So it's on the Department at the Colorado Department of Education on the school view, and you could go in there and get all of the stats from every school in the state or whatnot. But yeah, so anyway, what I recognize is that things have happened since these numbers got reported on this website, and they might be a little bit off or whatnot. And
They are. I will say that I think they're a little bit off.
Yeah,
I really do.
but the fact that it's not like they're flipping
Not
the
gonna
other way
flip,
around.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And on top of that, that they're not being able to read or do math at 76% in math and read or whatever at these high percentage rates. They're not graduating at maybe just a tick under that. So about 50% isn't graduating. You know what I'm saying? So that's half of the kids, black kids in that school don't graduate. It's like that's an epidemic. That's like
Right, but we
killing
don't make up
ourselves.
the so in our district, yes, minorities make up the majority of the population for our district,
Yeah.
but it's more so the Hispanic population opposed to black and white and the Asian
Because it's more-
Pacific and stuff.
it's bigger,
Yeah. So it's mainly brown people,
Yeah.
right? So numbers are going to be different. They really are. They really are. And I'm not a numbers person, so I don't want to speak to that. I'm just
Okay.
fixing a problem through policy.
Yeah.
Bring it to me.
So
and we'll work it
I
out.
think where I'm kind of trying to lead with the line of questions is being a city council member and having the relationships built in the city with right now our school districts are completely separate and all the taxes and stuff come from the housing all of that stuff
the
boards.
bonds and things.
right
Yeah.
so to be able to have that conversation come together, like we need to. I feel that we need to stop our school districts having to do things without our government, our state, our city government. You know what I mean? And is that possible? And if there's anything that's a strength, it would be you that would bring that strength to that. And with these numbers, it feels as though that's exactly what we need. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think about that? And is that even a possibility or something that you saw for your campaign?
I believe that anything is possible
Yeah.
if people are willing to come to the table and just have the conversation initially, right? It starts with those hard conversations, and I hate to see that there's so much division, right? And I think that is because people do get caught up in the political aspect of it. And then some things are political. But when you lose yourself in that, that's when the problem gets even larger. And for me, it's people over politics and people over power.
Yeah.
What can we do to fix this? And the working relationship between school and city is funny because when we were having our retreat on Saturday, I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to cultivate the relationship between school and city. So what does that look like?
Right.
So I think there needs to be working together hand in hand, right? Because we're a city. These are our school districts. So it all makes sense to work together. But does city council want to take on that responsibility with everything else they have going on? So I would be for starting those conversations just to see what it looks like, right? Because I'm not one that quickly just jump on a bandwagon. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I need to know why I need to be informed, right? First before I can come to the table and say, yes, I'm all for it. Am I all for people working together for the betterment of community? Absolutely. What does that look like?
Yeah. I'm asking all the
No,
questions.
go ahead.
Man. Just tap me
If it's
so,
on your head, go.
Yeah. So what's your plan B? Because you're saying you got to be willing to come to the table and they got to be willing to talk and work things out, but they don't. We know that they don't, because I mean, you won't be the first one to say, hey, well, let's just talk this out, guys, and let's have bipartisan conversation and things. Like they've done that before, and it doesn't happen. So, like, what's your go? What are you gonna do after they say?
Are you speaking of community or as council?
The council, my bad.
Well, just politics. I mean,
Okay,
look at
wait.
yesterday. They had the Democrats and Republicans met for hours and hours and hours, and the conclusion was they were in the exact same place when they left as when they came in.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I just think a lot of people, they meet on some ego trips.
Right.
And they really aren't taking this work serious enough. And we, as the voters, need to be more intentional on researching these people that we're putting in these seats.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the problem, right? I'm willing and open to work with anyone. And I've been working with people behind the scenes just to kind of gauge where they're coming from and, just to kind of get a feel for the council just by having conversations with all of them. I haven't had a conversation with Richard yet, but I've just been having conversations to see what the heck is happening. So, but what I'm getting is, there's no other way for me to say it. So our current representative, usually comes to the table in fight mode.
Yeah.
So for me, yes, it's a fight, but our fight is different, right? Like, I'm coming to the table, and I put your dukes down, put them down, right? This is what is important, right? The people and the decisions that we're making. It's not even about us. They just trusted us enough to put us in this place, right? So you have to have relationships with people. And I'm going to be intentional on having relationships with everyone, whoever it is, and getting to know them, understanding why. Because sometimes what happens is we're misunderstood. Are some of the decisions that's being made, are we okay with all of them? Heck to the no, we're not. But just cultivating those relationships, I can't stress that enough, because like, you don't know me. Right. Maybe you'll get to know me.
Never met her before.
Right, right. Maybe you'll get to know me because you'll continue to work at the relationship. But if you keep coming to the table constantly in fight mode, but you're sending the wrong message, right? You're coming to the table with one voice, not the voice of community.
Right.
Things are gonna get misconstrued. Like I said before, District 4, we're not poor, pitiful, and just want handouts.
Right.
Stop bringing that to the table. That's not our narrative. That narrative has changed. We done wrote a whole nother book since then. Get off of that bandwagon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just understanding them and who they are. But it's hard for me to gauge that right now because, like I said, we don't know who's going to be in these seats. But the people that are in the seats, I already have, my mind is set to work together on making the best decisions and listening to the people clearly. Like, you remember those bike lanes? Everybody was tripping about that. I'm like, you know what? There wasn't enough people at the table. And my thing is, don't trip if you didn't show up. Right? You can't just trip and be spouting and murmuring and complaining if you're not showing up. Like, if there's a platform or opportunity for community to show up, we need to show up in full force.
How do you do that? How do you get to, because Scorman said that earlier, you got to vote. And, it's kind of like, it's more than that than to just tell people to vote and to show up. Like, how are you to engage this thing? Because, again, the 4th district doesn't vote, historically. So, how do we fix that? And I won't ask another one, John, my bad, man. I'll let you go for 10 straight. If we get to the police, he wants to get to the police next.
Okay. You know what? Just doing what, as a matter of fact, doing what you all are doing. You're providing a platform for a community to come share. So I just think continue to be intentional on engaging community in these processes. That's how we're going to get to it. I mean, because we can't stop. I mean, I don't even think there's something we can just pull out the hat and be like, ta-da, here it is. It's a fix. Right? It's just something you have to constantly work at. Right? And you have to be willing to, which is why I said sometimes you got to put your dukes down. Right? I'm a fighter. We all in the fight. We fighting
It's serious.
For people to wear masks and stay healthy.
Yeah, it's serious
you know,
business.
what do fighters do? We bob and weave, right? You ain't about to be a TKO with me.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, so that's the mindset though. But I know when to bring a different fight to the table.
Okay.
Right? Everything is not going to be conflicting and confrontational. Like, that's not how we're going to get the problem. So I want to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem.
So Sean is correct.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up the police next because this gets to a little bit what you're talking about. Over the summer, you know, we saw protests, we saw the fight, but then Southers and Gagler sort of got involved, William, you know, these different people got involved, and they're like, let's just all come together, have a happy little talk about this. But what was really happening was that those people in positions of power were they were manipulating. I don't want to call them kids, but they were younger. They hadn't experienced this a lot, you know what I'm saying? And it sounded good to a lot of folks, like, oh, this is good. They're bringing us to the table, and they formed LETAC. I guess I'm putting my own attitudes and opinions about
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you like
Right.
LETAC, but
happens here.
my sense is that, you know, LETAC became a sort of like ineffective result of these nice conversations, right? So maybe I should just ask you what your thoughts on LETAC are, and basically like police oversight and police accountability, and then secondarily like the council's relationship with the mayor, because I know a lot of that was just like the council's refusal to push back against the mayor. He sort of dominated much of that process, from what it seems like from the outside.
Yeah.
Okay, so first to speak to, you know, the part where you said it kind of came together, had this nice little conversation,
Right.
and kind of you felt that it was manipulative to our younger people.
Yeah.
So I will say to that, it's our job to educate us, right? So we need to inform them on what's really going on in the processes. So when they do get in a situation like that, you know, they won't be too quick to fall for it, is what I'm saying, right? So it's about education, like educating our young people. Police accountability. If you are ill policing, being reckless, should there be accountability? Absolutely. Should there be more transparency in our police department? Absolutely. Because if it's not, you're part of the problem. How you can't cover up a murder?
Right.
Well,
Where they
apparently
do?
you can,
Yeah,
but
You know what I'm saying? But like, where do they do that at? And you know what? I'm gonna say, like I was very, very upset. I was emotionally all over the place because I look at that as that's my son, right?
Right.
I got 3, right?
Exactly.
And so I'm emotionally all over the place, like, what the flip is happening right now? Why is this happening? Why is that not happening? Clearly this was wrong.
Right.
Clearly. And then there's no accountability. Right? So what do we do as a community moving forward? Oh, let's get the LETAC. So I don't know how I feel about LETAC. Is it going to be effective? I don't know, right? This is a huge work, and it's a lot of work that needs to be done. I just feel like those that were chosen were perhaps chosen for a strategic reason, right?
Right.
And that's how I see it.
I'm not. They were.
Sean said it. I mean, but I agree with Sean.
Yeah.
I literally do. So let me just be real, like
You know,
I said.
I told Richard Scorman
Right.
that, you know, like, well, first off, everybody here applied for it. You know, but like people like Lisa Villanueva, she was the president of the NAACP
Right.
chapter here, and she didn't even make it to the second. Like, she didn't even make it past the first cut.
Strategic.
She like, you know, it's very obvious what happened there. But anyway, sorry, my bad.
No,
You know,
it was strategic, and so that's what we need to get away from. We need to get away. That's that politicking, right?
Yeah.
So we need to be more intentional on who we're putting in the seat,
Yeah.
right? I would just want a regular person with just life experience in the seat making decisions for me because Sean gets it, John gets it, Regina gets it. Like, she's not so entrenched and caught up and having that political hat on and want to be acknowledged as this, that I lose sight of who I am and where I came from and the struggles that my people are having.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't, the lead tag, I'm not,
Okay.
So do you think
We
it's
just
more a
don't-
matter of the people on it or the structure of League Tac itself?
It can be both, right? It's a combination of both. And I think the way that happened was not the way it should have happened.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's not okay.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a do-over. Do
Right.
we get do-overs?
Right, yeah, we need
Well,
one for sure.
We need to have a do-over.
Well, part of it was
So-
because the mayor was pushing the not actual oversight board, but instead the sort of like community conversation type board. So like, again, following up on the second part of my question, like how do you envision the council and your relationship with the mayor? Because this has been something, I don't know, this has been something that's bothering me. It seems like the council doesn't want to upset the mayor too much.
Right.
Well, see, for me, it's not about a feeling. I don't care how you feel, Mayor. We're going to talk about this. I don't care who the mayor is or, even moving forward is what I'm saying. This is not about a feeling.
Right.
This is about the lives of people. So, and who is your alliance to, right? Where does your loyalty lie? And is it true to you or true to them? Are you staying true to who you are and your values, right? Or are you just tiptoeing around someone that's in a position of power that you don't want to ruffle the feathers because now it may not be a good work environment for you? And I'm not saying that's the case, but for me, I'm pushing back on everything community wants pushed back on. And even if community ain't there, and I feel like community would want me to push back, I'm not even pushing, I'm shoving you. Like, you just might fall down and have to get back up. Like, that's how hard I'm coming. That's how hard I'm coming for my community. Like, we can have the hard conversations.
Right. See that, and that's why I was getting at
I'm not scared to.
with the being able to talk to and work with people when they're just not willing to, and
exactly.
you get pissed off, and cause it's gonna happen, and I'm wanting to know where do we, cause I'm cynical, I don't think that they're gonna try to work with you at all, you know what I'm saying? So what happens now when you get to that point and you see that these people are not, then like you're going to have to push and all of these things, and then I'm wondering like, is that in your nature? Because like Scorman just the other day, he said that's not in my nature. It's just like, I'm just gonna be a nice, and I feel like I know, but I don't like the people. Don't
let these stilettos and this cuteness fool you. Like
Right,
for real.
right.
When I need to go hard, I can put a whole different hat on and go hard. And I say that unapologetically, and I say that as being real, like, cause I'm sick of it, just like y'all are sick of it.
Right.
And let me just be clear that I personally don't think that they're going to overlook me because they respect me and they respect who I am in a community.
Okay.
They know my skill set and they know that I'm no nonsense. The difference between me is that I shape my message in a different way, because it's all about how you deliver a message. If I came in here and I'm just being, my delivery is just all raggedy and foul with y'all not gonna want to talk to me and have a conversation, right? If I'm all disgruntled and all I do is murmur and complain, why would you want all that energy in your space? Right? So what we're seeing is there's an unwillingness to work with that. Not to say anybody on that console is perfect and they're all making good decisions, because we know all decisions that are made are decisions that we want to see. But you know what? I'm a different type of chick. I move different, right? I don't allow people to dictate how I'm going to think or how I'm supposed to feel about something, right? I'm gonna stay true to me, and as a representative for my community, I'm going to bring that vibe in as well as a collective message. But I think they're going to be willing to work with me, right? I done had several conversations with, Mayor. He don't have a lot of number one fans, but you still have to build those relationships with people of trust and just begin to talk to them.
Right.
See why they're saying this. See why they're doing this. Understand that first. Establish the relationship. So I know that I'll have a good working relationship with whomever gets on council. Are we gonna agree all the time? Heck no.
Yeah.
We're not. It just doesn't work like that. So I don't want people to take me for granted because of what they see, because I can put on I'm going to have to put on a whole different hat and bring a different kind, a more balanced fight to the table, right? Because I can come in, like I said, and have those hard conversations and push back. And I'm not going to push back in a way to where now it's getting comical and I'm just really disregarding people and taking people for granted. That's Bill Murray. He just spouts out all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, really? Right? So I'm going to be a little different than that, but he says anything out of his mouth. Like, I'm like, did he just say that? Okay, Bill, what? That's who you are. So give it to us, right? So I don't want him to change who he is, but I'm just saying, I have a level head, right? I can work under pressure, right? I'm working on a doctorate running the campaign. I can work under pressure. It's tough, and like I said, we're going to have some wins and we're going to have some losses, but we're going to have more wins because of the type of leadership that I'll bring and the balanced style of decision making that's going to come to the council, and bringing more diversity. Like, it needs to be more inclusive, and I don't see that happening. So for me, supporting me is supporting you, because I'm bringing all of us to the table. I know you ain't our district, John. I'm just talking in general. You're in front of me.
John Rice.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So I'm bringing all of us. I'm sorry. I'm bringing all of us
now
to
you're
the
knocking
table.
my stuff over?
Right. Coming in, tearing up. Right? Yeah. So I don't know if I answer your question, because I want to answer your question. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. What else you got, John? What you
I mean,
thinking
I
about
have a
there,
ton.
bud?
I don't want to run too long. We have
looks like we're-
specifically
We're hitting right at the hour right now, about 5 minutes left.
yeah, your thoughts on Chief Niski. Do you think he's a good police chief?
You know what?
We asked this to everybody, right?
These are some of the questions that we asked all of the people that came on.
We have a lot of work to do when it comes to policing. We have a lot of work to do, and those that are in position, we expect them to do their jobs. If your job is to protect and serve, we expect you to do that. But we also expect justice when justice is needed. And we just need to hold those people accountable for what's not happening, right? So there needs to be more accountability and transparency.
Indeed.
And that's what I'll say.
Okay.
Good politician answer.
Yeah, hey,
There you go.
You did
I am not a politician. I am a change agent.
You demonstrated and you define which politics to a T. You know, I'm gonna work with everybody. Everybody gonna get along. We gonna get it together.
No, I didn't say we're gonna get along. Listen, that's what I said.
No.
We gonna have some disagreements.
Relational politics.
Relational, and I said I'm gonna
Hey.
shove back. I ain't pushing back. I'm shoving back.
I gotta say, I didn't know what to expect, you know, because of course I haven't talked to you, you know, about your campaign and what you wanted to run on and why you were running. I feel like this was very eye-opening for a lot of people, and just having you be able to say your piece, you know what I'm saying, and hopefully you'll be able to come back on and talk about some of this stuff and talk about the successes and things that you're being held back on once you're there, and you know, how we can help as a community, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, also being a part of Rise and being, ever since they killed Devon Bailey, the South Side has really galvanized. You know, there's been a lot of, our community is organized now, you know, and I think that we're able to do things that we weren't able to do before. You know, even when Yolanda ran the first time, or, you know, last time, and one, that this community didn't look like it looks now, you know what I'm saying? So I feel that there's a whole nother, you know, there's a whole nother atmosphere in the air, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to be able to take advantage of it. And that's really what I want to get at, especially in the I take 4th District as mine, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like if they're not giving us what we need and what we want, and what we have to have, then you have to come back to the community and let us go get it. Because, you know, the power there's no power sitting up there. All of the power is down here in these city blocks. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right in the valley.
No doubt. And I honor that and I respect that. And that's what I want to bring to the table. Not the voice of Regina, but the voice of community. And I mean that wholeheartedly, because at the end of the day, it's up to the people. But I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear just to put me in the seat.
Word.
Yeah, you're going to put me in a seat because that's what your heart is telling you to do. And because, like I said, times change and seasons change. And we don't have time for inconsistencies and having to be coerced to show up at things, or, you know what I'm saying? Show up. Even just to have a presence. If you're not even in agreement and you ain't saying nothing, but you just showing up because you're the representative, you have a presence there. Like when community calls on me now, and I'm there. Like
Right.
I show up.
Right.
I don't contemplate like, wait a second, I don't know. Like they're calling on me for a reason because they see me as an influential leader in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
So I honor those that honor me in that way. So
Indeed.
just know I'm down for District 4. I'm
Yes, sir.
riding hard. I'm going hard for
All right.
District 4.
Indeed.
So thank y'all for having me
Yeah,
here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. John, you good, man?
Yep.
All right.
Janita Lynn, my friend, is
Okay,
here,
come
y'all.
on,
This
let's
is
see.
my
So
this
good
is my
to see
field
you
manager
guys.
Oh,
slash
okay. All right.
campaign
Yes.
manager.
Yes.
So
You know,
yeah.
Shanita, she's
That's why she's
part of
pushing so
the tennis union, and you know, been
Several
in
many
the
other
she.
things.
She a boss.
Yeah, she got her own chair right here in the Center.
See, I surround myself with boss
Indeed,
ladies,
indeed.
women of strength.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, but thank y'all. This was
Okay,
fun.
all right, y'all. Hey, all power, man. We
I think
appreciate
it's
y'all.
fun too.
Yeah. Appreciate
Yeah,
it, man.
everybody,
Thanks, guys.
we also have another interview, but we're not going to live stream it. But
Oh,
we
yeah.
got lots coming up.
Yeah,
so
we got
keep
some stuff
watching.
coming. Yeah, though, we ain't gonna tell them who it is.
Promise Lee.
Promise Lee is in the building. He's coming, man. We'll
Yeah,
holler at
he
y'all,
coming
man.
today?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.